People compare us to the Australia deal and Israel. This is very different. I think it's the right thing to do. I absolutely believe that we have to make sure we send a very clear message to people that it won't pay
to
come across illegally. No, come here legally. Right, back to my own story.
Okay.
Right, we fled Iraq from Saddam Hussein, came straight here to a safe country. These people are coming from France.
Minister, that's what I'm saying. You were privileged enough to be able to fly here. Well, people have to get on dinghies that sink in the channel.
But they're in France. They're in a safe country. They don't need to get on
circles on that one. I need to ask you about India before we run out of time. Are you completely, the Prime Minister there this morning, of course, are you completely comfortable doing a deal with a country that refuses to condemn Russia at the UN and the behaviour of Putin?
Well, India is the world's largest democracy. They are neutral on this. They know what our position is. The Prime Minister's taken a leadership position in making sure we defend the rights of the Ukrainian people. They have been illegally attacked, invaded. War crimes are being committed in the Ukraine. The Indian government is very aware of our position.
And yet India still won't condemn them.
Well, India's chosen a path of neutrality. I'm sure the Prime Minister will make very clear what our position is.
Worse than that, they're still buying Russian oil in rupees at huge discounts, and that they obviously have weapons deals with Russian-made weaponry, and it's undermining the sanctions that the most of the Western world is trying to implement.
You mentioned weapons, so around 65% of the Indian military hardware is Russian. We want to change that. We want to see India be looking at buying Western defence weapons and other weaponry. That's part of the trade deal.
I also mentioned talking about oil and it being discounted, and that is in part one of the reasons why our energy bills are increasing here in the United Kingdom, but we think it's the right thing to do, and yet Russia is not, India is not doing that.
Well, as I say, look, India is the world's largest democracy. They've taken a neutral position. We have taken a very different position. I am certain the Prime Minister will be. They have in terms of the votes of the UN and the position they've taken overall. I think our position is clear on the illegality of the invasion of the Ukraine by Putin.
But they're propping up the Putin regime by doing this.
Well, and this is something that the Prime Minister will be discussing with his cabinet. Of course, they will. Our position is very clear. But this trip is about trade. This trip is about building that deep trade relationship with a country that will be the third largest economy in the world by 2030.
It's also about doing a deal with a country that's supporting the Putin regime, that is hammering people day and night in Ukraine illegally.
Well, I think that's a misrepresentation of India's position in terms of they've chosen a path at the moment of neutrality. And I think we will make our position very clear. I'm sure the Prime Minister will talk about why we have led, I hope, with our US and European colleagues on supporting the Ukrainian people. The Ukrainian people are putting up a really good fight. They are fighting like lions in the Donbass. This battle for the Donbass is going to be crucial I hope, reminding President Putin of the errors of judgment that he's made.
There's much still to do as far as your department is concerned as well. Are you going to get more of your civil servants back to work?
We are. We have been very clear that I want to see departments going back to levels of office occupancy that are pre-pandemic, so pre-pandemic working. Now, in saying that, I also want my teams out visiting nurseries, early years, schools, colleges, and universities, and I think that's the right thing to do. But my absolute commitment is to make sure that people come back. I tell you, there's another good reason, is that the most junior staff can only really progress if we are together, whether it be in statutory buildings in London or in our great hub in Sheffield. We've doubled the number of people in Sheffield. We're up to 1,500 people now in Sheffield and other hubs in Darlington and elsewhere. So we want people back to pre-pandemic levels of office occupancy. What's that?
How quickly?
Oh, as soon as, you know, we're on it now. You know, people are, and I have to say, we're building on skills. The skills bill is with the.
You're going to get in trouble. We're overrunning. You're going to get me in trouble.
Right. The skills bill we're building on, schools white paper, to make sure every child is entitled to a great school wherever they live in the country, and of course family hubs in half of England's local authorities.
Okay.
And I can't end this interview without wishing Her Majesty the Queen a happy birthday.
Absolutely right. Thank you. Oh, you've blocked the TL thing. Is that because everybody thought it was Tory leader?
No, it's T levels, and I would have put on, but I've had too many badges. I thought it was important to actually have this.
You would have looked like one of those mods or rockers or something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
good to see you as always. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Well, the Partygate row is once again on many of the front pages this morning. The Eye says that Tory rebels fear a backlash from voters due to the controversy surrounding Boris Johnson's recent fine for breaking lockdown rules. The Guardian reports on the Prime Minister's bid to block an inquiry into whether he misled Parliament over Partygate, which it says has failed. On the front of the Times, the Children's Commissioner says England should follow Wales and Scotland and ban the smacking of children. The Telegraph goes with Russia's test of a new intercontinental ballistic missile known as Satan-2, which is said to carry a dozen warheads. While the Mail says Prince Harry is being accused by royal staff of breathtaking arrogance following his US TV appearance. So, as we know, the Prime Minister is in India on a trade deal. We sent our political editor, Beth Rigby, of course, to be with him. Hi, Beth. A very good morning to you. Heard what the Minister was saying there. Despite what's happening with Russia, this deal will go ahead if possible. Your thoughts this morning? Good morning.
Hi, Kay. Well, yeah, you asked the Education Secretary there, didn't you, about Ukraine quite extensively. We asked the Prime Minister about that too on the plane. As you said, India has abstained on a vote in the Security Council. It has failed to explicitly condemn the invasion of Ukraine. Well, what did the Prime Minister say about it on the plane when we came over? He said that he would address some of these issues with Prime Minister Modi, who he will meet in Delhi tomorrow. But he said that the UK had to do this with India as equal partners. He said that he had to recognise the historic relationship between India and Russia, and also recognise the relationship historically between the UK and India, the UK being a former colonial power. Perhaps the Indian government would not particularly appreciate the UK government telling them how to run their foreign policy. So it is a sensitive subject, but the Prime Minister was clear that he would certainly ask Prime Minister Modi, or talk to him at least, about the possibility of reducing India's dependence on Russian military equipment, and will of course raise the matters of Ukraine, but in quite a delicate way. The second big thing he wants to do here is that trade deal. Both countries want to get that done. They hope to nail it down by the end of the year. Both Prime Ministers with an eye on the 2024 elections they have respectively. But it will be tough. On the UK's part, they want to sell more alcoholic spirits, more cars and car parts to India. And on India's part, they would probably like more visas. Now, the Prime Minister opened the door to that on the plane, saying that the UK needed hundreds of thousands more workers, but that any immigration plan had to be controlled. So watch this space, see what they have to say on that. I think we're going to be hearing from the Prime Minister quite a bit today, as he tries to keep the focus very much on what he's doing in India and very much away from what's going on back home.
Okay, Beth, thanks very much. Thank you. Still to come on the programme for you this morning. We'll speak to the author and journalist Robert Hardman as the Queen celebrates her 96th birthday. UNICEF spokesperson in Ukraine, Toby Fricker, will be with us from Dnipro as the humanitarian crisis worsens there. Ahead of a vote on whether the PM should be investigated for misleading Parliament, we'll speak to former Tory Cabinet Minister David Hawke. Senior Ukrainian negotiators have offered to hold talks with Russia, in Mariupol, in a bid to evacuate troops and civilians from the besieged port city. But a top Putin ally claims that Russian forces will seize the Mariupol steel plant today, the last major stronghold of resistance in the city. Mariupol is strategically significant because it would help Russia create a land bridge with Crimea. Russian forces now control almost all of the city, with the last remaining Ukrainian troops holding on in the Azovstal steelworks. City authorities are hoping to evacuate around 6,000 people through a humanitarian corridor between Mariupol and Zaporizhzhia. I can't pronounce this one, forgive me. Zaporizhzhia. There you go. I know somebody who can, and that's Deborah. She's standing by for us in Kiev. Hi, Deborah. Good morning. So, will these talks go ahead, or is Mariupol about to fall?
That's a really good question. It's very unclear how anything good can come out of Mariupol at the moment. It's a city that's seen the worst of the fighting, and that's a pretty high bar given how devastated other parts of the country have been by Russia's invasion. But yes, you've got this ally of President Putin saying that he believes the city will fall by lunchtime today. It's this last pocket of resistance in this steelworks where you have Ukrainian fighters who have been holding out against the odds, refusing to give up. If the city falls, that would be the largest city to fall to Russia in 8 weeks of war. And there is a belief that Russian forces are trying to achieve successes for the Kremlin by the 9th of May, which is the annual Victory Day, marking the end of the Second World War and Russia's victory over the Nazis. But I was talking yesterday to a top Ukrainian official who doesn't believe Russia will achieve any successes by that date.
France's two remaining presidential candidates clashed in their only televised debate yesterday, 4 days before the country votes. Far-right leader Marine Le Pen still lags behind the centrist Emmanuel Macron in the polls, but millions of voters remain undecided.
La plus claire, je pense que le voile est.
I believe that the veil is a uniform imposed by the Islamists. I think the young women wearing them are forced to.
Non, mais d'accord. Non, mais arrêtez de tout confondre. Stop mixing things up.
Do not give me a lesson.
I'm not giving you a lesson.
Do not give me a lesson on how to finance my plan.
Well, joining us now is our international affairs editor, Dominic Wycon. Hi, Dom. How's it looking?
Well, it's a pretty fiery debate. I think the verdict coming out of last night's debate is that Le Pen did better than last time, but not well enough to change things. Last time in 2017, she was trounced by Emmanuel Macron, and that cemented her defeat in the election that followed. This time around, Macron was able to land punches on issues like the hijab, the Muslim headscarf, saying it would cause a civil war in France, but also on the fact that Le Pen's party has a loan from a Russian bank, and that was damaging in the current climate. And she got flustered after that, but regained her composure. Her challenge came in this election is to not come across as an extremist on immigration and the EU, both issues that she hasn't really changed her positions on, but she's trying to focus her fire on more populist issues, coming across as a champion of economic issues. On those, Macron was able to unpick some of her plans a little, saying, how's she going to pay for them? But she was able to, I think, stand her ground. His challenge is that to many French, he's an annoying, arrogant ex-banker. And I think in his kind of exasperation with that, he would have come across to many voters, or some voters at least, as rather supercilious and
Bonjour, les chroniqueurs et les chroniqueuses, c'est le moment de Denis. J'espère qu'en regardant cette vidéo, vous aurez un peu de motivation pour faire un peu d'exercice ce matin et commencer la journée sur une note positive. Ou plutôt, vraiment, une note enthousiaste et déterminée. Eh bien, merci, c'était le Valin de Hindi, dans les chroniques du Valin de Hindi. Alright guys, after watching this video, I hope you get inspired by this video, and I also hope that you learn from it, that you get some motivation. You get some motivation in order to achieve your goals. I'm doing these videos so that you can get motivated in the morning, and you can start your day on a positive note. So thank you for sharing and subscribing. I hope you're all having a good morning and a good day. I shall see you soon for another video. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe.